Hey, what's up? This is Craig Smith. Today I wanted to discuss a concern that I had today from someone who I sent a proposal over to about savings. So they got the numbers for solar on their home, and their response was, I have to invest about $26,000 and I'm only going to be saving $20 a month. And that doesn't make sense to invest 26 grand to save $20 a month. And the reality is, if that were the case, they're 100% right. I agree with them. It doesn't make sense to invest and shell out 26 grand to save $20 a month. That would be insane for someone to do that. But when someone looks at a solar proposal, they might view it that way because they're not comparing apples to apples. Okay. Let me explain. So when most people go solar, they don't buy it cash. It doesn't really make sense to buy it cash unless you have a lot of money liquid to do so, right? So most people do what's called a finance program. So when you go solar, let's just say the solar cost for your system is $25,000, right? Well, instead of you having to pay up front for it, you simply get it installed on your roof. You don't pay anything up until it's up and running. Once your solar's installed and running, now your solar payments start to the loan company. Now your solar payment is going to be, somewhere near where your power payments would have otherwise been. Sometimes it's less. Sometimes it's $20 less. Sometimes it's $40 less. Sometimes it's a little bit more. But the idea is you're not really adding an expense. You're taking the money you are already paying for electricity, and instead of giving it to your utility company, you throw it into an ownership bucket. You're owning the power every month when you make that payment. So I'll use mortgaging a home and renting a home to give you an example of why it's not apples to apples. So let's say your mortgage for your home is $1,500 a month. That'd roughly come out to like $50 a day if you did the math, right? So you pay $1,500 a month. It's about $50 a day. Now, let's say 2 houses over, it's exact same model, same home, same floor plan, same everything. Renters move in and they're paying $1,400 a month. Okay. So they're getting better value than you. If you look at it, they're spending less dollars, I should say. So they're spending about $47 a day and they save $100 a month to rent that house, right? Now, if you could own the home for $1,500 a month or rent the same home for $1,400 a month, which one of those seems like a better deal for you? Well, let me explain to you how I look at this and how you should look at this. So that mortgage is $1,500 a month. It's fixed. It's not going up over time. And every time you make a $1,500 payment towards that mortgage, you're $1,500 closer, less interest to owning that home, right? The way a loan is amortized, obviously $1,500 isn't going to come off the principal. Based on your loan, it could be $1,450, $1,480, $1,400, whatever the amount is off of your amortization. But the point is this: most of the money you pay goes towards owning that home, right? The renter who pays $1,400 every month, at the end of the year, they're no closer to owning that home. They have no equity position or stake into that home. Now, let's say 5 years passes. After 5 years, if you paid $1,500 a month for that house, you're going to have spent about $90,000 in 5 years, of which most of that's going to have bought the home down, bought off your payoff down. So now you're closer to owning that home. Let's say you want to move in 5 years. You can sell the home. It's probably worth more than what you paid and more than what you owe. So you're going to have equity. So you can sell that home and there'll be equity. You can use some of that equity, put it down on your next home. And you didn't lose any momentum. You gained ground while living in that home. The renter goes to sell that home in 5 years. Well, if they were there for 5 years, I can assure you they didn't only pay $1,400 a month each year. Rent typically goes up every single year for most renters, right? Sometimes they get a 2-year lease and they'll get lucky if it doesn't go up, but rent goes up. So if it didn't go up at all, they would have paid $84,000. But we both know that's going to go up over time. They probably end up spending roughly, $95,000 or so for that house to rent it for 5 years. Now, if they want to move in 5 years, that home basically ate all that money up. They don't have anything to take with them to a new home. They don't have any equity. Now they got to go find another home and rent at the current market rate. Now, what will the current renting rate be 5 years from now? It'll be more than $1,400. We know that. It goes up over time. So if you look at it, you're not comparing apples to apples when you look at these examples, because the money that you put into a mortgage holds more value than the money you put into rent. And that's why most people want to own their home if they could. Well, when it comes to utility power, that is renting from the power plant. When it comes to a solar ownership, that is owning the power plant. So even if you are only saving $20, like in this customer's instance, to go solar, well, you were only saving $20 a month from the gate, right? But over time, that savings would increase because why? Because the utility rates would continue to go up. So the first year, your $20 a month may not be significant, but 5 years from now, that 20 might stretch out to 100 or 200. We don't know, you don't know, and that's the point. When it comes to your utility rates, there's no guarantees. If you call your utility company and ask them to lock your rate in and guarantee they'll never increase it in the future, they laugh at you. They couldn't do it. The cost of business wouldn't allow them to do so. So when you go solar, even if you're barely just saving a little bit, at least you have predictability and control over your future rates. Now, let's go back to the $20. I'm only saving $20. Well, at least at the end of 5 years, that customer, she would have saved the $20 in the beginning. All those payments would have gone towards an equity stake, towards ownership. It would have been closer to owning that system, which increases the value of their home should they want to sell their home. And over time, by sticking with the utility company, she gave up free savings. And she didn't have to invest any money up front. This customer wasn't mandated to put money out of her pocket. So when they think that I'm investing 26 grand and I'm not going to get my money back for X amount of time, you didn't have to put any money out of your pocket. It's not a real investment. You're not throwing money into the pot and hoping you get some back. The money that they're already paying for electricity, that's already gone. The kitchen table budget for electricity, you have that every month. You know what it is. Some people go on the equal pay plan where it flattens it out for the year because they don't want to see peaks in the summer. Some people just pay what they get month to month, and they know it's going to be high in the summer and low in the winter. The point is this. You're paying more money every month than if you would have gone solar. Even if you're only saving $20 a month and you're only saving $240 the first year, at least you got more bang for that buck, because the next year you're probably going to save more than $240. And the year after, you're going to probably save more than that. And by 3 years, 4 years, you save over $1,000, and $1,000 is $1,000. But more importantly, not only is it that you save some money, the savings cool, but you're in a better position. You know what your power rates are going to be. You're closer to owning that system. Your home increases in equity. You get a lot more bang for your buck across the board. So when you say, I don't want to go solar because I'm only saving $20, the reality is you should be willing to pay more to go solar. And a lot of people do because they see the long-term value in it. And some people right out of the gate, they might be paying an extra $20 or $30, but they know that they're going to save money over time because the utility rates will increase. And we didn't even get into the tax credit, which is still available right now. It's 26%, where that adds a lot of value. You can either reinvest that back into your system and it buys it down even more, or you can keep the money and spend it on what you want. So when people think that they're not saving enough with solar, they're not seeing it the right way. And well, for the most part, if you go solar, you're going to save money. It's a no-brainer. And you don't go solar really just to save money. It increases home equity. It gives you control. It's better for the environment. Your home's more desirable when you do choose to sell it. And you don't have to worry about what your bill's going to be down the road. So going solar is a no-brainer for ownership. As long as you get a good deal. Look, are there people out there that get bad deals? Sure, it happens all the time. I used to work in the car dealership world, right? And you can go to any car dealer in town and get screwed. Same thing with solar. There's some bad experiences, but if you go to a reputable company and you get a reputable consultant to help you, you will be much better off in an elevated position by going solar.